Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome to tonight's episode of 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis, and tonight we're joined by a very special guest, Bashar from 49er Minded. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing awesome as usual. Another day above ground is always a great day for me. So,
Yep, I feel that. I definitely feel that. Um, Bashar, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I know we've been trying to get on each other's shows for a while now, and it's always one thing or another.
I still need to get you on my show. I already had TL on there, and I know you were in the comment section. You were like, "You're cheating on me."
she was like, breach of contract. I'll never forget that. I was cracking up.
um, Before we get started, why don't I'm sure everybody here knows about you, but in case they don't, tell everybody about you, where they can find you, what you got going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you don't know who I am, that's fine. I mean, not everybody knows me, but I'm just a diehard, passionate 49er fan. I'd never ever call myself an expert because when I watch these guys on YouTube break down film, I'm always learning something new. But been a diehard fan, say since 1987. Thanks to my brother, God rest his soul. But love these 49ers, and I love talking about the 49ers. And for me, it's always a fun conversation. I do a lot of guests. My show is very guest oriented, so you'll never really see me on my show just sitting there by myself, blabbing my mouth off or whatever. But I've collabed with a lot of great content creators, and nothing really huge in the works, but every now and then some surprises will come up. The best way to follow me is on my 49er Minded Twitter page. I'm always putting up updates in regards to what's happening with my channel, because on my YouTube channel it doesn't have the community tab. It doesn't let you doesn't really let me post on there. But you can also find me on the 49er Minded Facebook page as well. I'm on Instagram at 49er Minded, and on Twitter it's at 49er Minded as well. So if you ever have any questions for me, if you want to be potential guest, go ahead and you can always hit me up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, underrated channel too. He has some great content for people that are listening. He has some great content. He had me on his show probably about 2 or 3 months ago now. You had me on there and stuff. And yeah,
I got mad at me.
Yeah, she'll be all right. But yeah, it's a great channel. So yeah, if you guys have a chance, go ahead and shoot him a follow and go ahead and listen to his stuff, because his knowledge is very good in my opinion. So
I appreciate it, man. You both of you bring a lot of knowledge to the table. So for me, it's just like I just want to make it fun and entertaining and talk about Niners. That's my whole thing, because I got my stand-up comedy background, and I hosted a couple of cable access shows back in the days. So I just always been about the entertainment side and try to make things fun. But I'll definitely throw some knowledge in there if I have to.
Yeah, I love your videos, and especially the bulky thing and who's going to the game. What's good? Like every time I watch your show, I swear the songs and shit get stuck in my head forever.
That's the plan.
But yeah, that's what I love most about your show, is that you bring people on there that we normally we might see on Twitter or on their own channels or whatnot, but we don't ever find out how they became 49ers fans and what about their background and everything into it, really, on other people's shows. So that's really what I like about yours, is that you get into the mind of the 49ers fans. So
you got my little slogan down, 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. I like to just bring a little bit of a unique approach, not saying, oh, I'm gonna do something completely different than that guy did, but it's just always, everybody in general on here has their own personal spin into how they talk about the Niners, and mine's just a little different, but we have a great 49er community on YouTube. I mean, I'm not trying to be biased, but I'll try searching up for other communities online for other NFL fans, and I just don't see them having the talent and the abundance of people on here that we do. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Let's say what's up to the chat. Peachy, Tanya, appreciate you ladies. Swan, the Niner Life. Thank you guys for joining us. So let's just go ahead and jump into this, because Bashar has to get to a Warriors game at 6:30. So
I'm not going to the game. I'm just going
to. No,
watch
I know,
TV.
but to watch it, you have to get off here so you can be watching.
It's all good. I'm not of that. We can let it go past 6:30. Worst case scenario.
I promised him I would get him out on time.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start out with something that I think it was 6 days ago now. Some nobody that none of us, knew about, Matt Lombardo, decided that, his name wasn't in the headlines enough. So he had to stir up some trouble in 49ers land. And put out the tweet that I have heard that the 49ers staff has been continuing, what the hell does he put? Continually underwhelmed by Trey Lance. So he's heard, and that means, that this has been over and over and over that they've been underwhelmed by him.
I mean, it's so vague though. What were the details in this?
Yeah.
Elaborate on that, please.
And I guess I heard that he was on a radio show or something and talked about it this week and said that I guess was from last year that he heard that. And I don't know, a bunch of BS he brought up. But what are your guys' thoughts on that whole situation? Do you think it could be possible that he did hear something like that? And if so, by who?
Yeah, if anything, maybe he heard something from early in camp or during training camp that Trey wasn't so great at, being consistent with his short passes or whatever. Who knows, man? It just seems like you mentioned earlier, like it almost feels like this guy just wants to get his name out, and now everybody's talking about him. We're talking about him, and it's just ironic. His last name is so close to Lombardi, tomato. So
yeah. I just can't do nothing but laugh about these fools, man. I think it's just getting to a point. It's sad. I feel like we're living in a society where people are like attention seekers. Like, I'm not being talked about enough, so let me throw some nonsense out there so somebody can talk about me. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's just what it seems like. Everybody wants their flowers per se, and everybody just wants to bring up some nonsense. But yeah, I did hear something about some stuff that, like, the way he was talking was something about training camp from last year or something like that. So, for him to bring up something that's almost 10 months ago is funny to me. It's like, dude, I don't know. I just, I'm not taking anybody serious no more when it comes to that. And two, I mean, let's just say he did hear some stuff like that. It could be something to be like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to, who's going to come out and be like, oh, like if it was me and if I saw something good out of Trey, I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm not going to be like, oh, you guys better watch out. He's going to take the league by storm, this and that. Oh, he's okay. He's looking, he can get better, whatever the case may be. You don't want to put all your cards on the table. So
yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, even if somebody did tell him that, it's probably just some nonsense just to make people think like, Trey's not ready, as they've been saying for a whole year now. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts of it. Like, this dude, I agree with the people in the chat and stuff. He's just I don't know. I don't take his tweet and his words. To me, they have no relevance. So
my whole thing is like, so many people are talking shit about Trey Lance, and to where it's like almost like on a personal level. The hate that he gets, and the things that they say about him is like, what did you expect? That was his rookie year training camp, right? We all know he hadn't played in so long. Like, why is every other rookie allowed to come into this league and make mistakes and grow and have rookie years and get playing time, and learn from their playing time? But Trey Lance is just supposed to come in and show up on his first, day of freaking rookie mini camp and be like a 5-year vet already. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. But also with that, some people did some digging around and found a video that, and I think it was Grant that actually, was the first one that brought this to everybody's attention the other day. There was an interview with our ex-quarterback coach, Rich, that's now the OC at Kentucky. Teran, did you happen to listen to the video?
No, I didn't listen to the video, but I did hear exactly what that man said. So,
what are your thoughts on that? And, we had seen a whole bunch of coaches leave, after the offseason, after this season, and most on the offensive side of the ball. Do you think that, and we heard people talk about this, back when Trey was drafted, that there was possibly people in the 49ers that, weren't in on Trey, that, they didn't want Trey Lance, that obviously that Shanahan did, and that's why he got drafted, right? Um, it sounds to me that Rich was one of those guys that wasn't in on Trey Lance. We do know that he is a Jimmy guy. He came back to the team last year for Jimmy because that's who Jimmy wanted as his quarterback coach. And now he left, right? Do you think that him and all these other coaches, I'm sure not all of them, but some of them, do you think that they left because they also weren't in on Trey?
No, I don't think that at all. I just saying, I feel like people like the Wes Welkers and stuff like that. I think they left because they just probably saw like a better opportunity, more money, stuff like that. You know what I mean? I mean, if you can live in, like us, we live in a state that doesn't have any state taxes. So, you get more money in your paycheck, stuff like that. And I've mentioned this before. I mean, if I had a chance to live in Santa Clara, and don't get me wrong, I love California. I'm from there. But if you get a chance to live, move out of California and live in Miami where, you don't have no state income tax and stuff like that, I'm taking that all day. So Rich Gangarello, absolutely. I know why. I think that's why he left. The comments he said about, he wanted a quarterback who stands in the pocket, anticipates throws, and this and that. Everything that Trey isn't. Well, that he thinks Trey isn't, because I think he
Yeah.
can do it. I just think that he was biased towards Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy was his guy. Like you said, Jimmy wanted him to be the quarterback coach. Like, he requested him. So I just think I think it's personal for Scangarello. I don't think these other coaches left because of that reason, though. I just think that they saw a better chance for better opportunities and stuff like that. Because I think a lot of these coaches' ultimate goal is to be, some kind of either coordinator or, like a head coach someday too. So maybe it's just that they see something where, like, well, it's not going to happen here. So, going with people like McDaniel, whatever the case, and be, it could be a chance to see and give their chance to sign. Like Wes Welker can go there with what Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and be like, man, this dude, he's with the first year head coach. He went out there, he shined. So let's give him an opportunity to be an offensive coordinator. So there's a bunch of things that happen. So to make a long story short, no, I don't think these coaches left because of Trey Lance, but Rick Scangarello, I think he did because of Trey Lance.
And I have a question because I didn't catch the video, but when I did read the quote where he basically said the bottom line is about quarterbacks and their toughness to stand in the pocket. I'm paraphrasing what he's saying. He said, "Oh, they have their toughest test is when they're getting hits, to still deliver it. That matters the most." But was there a question? I mean, did they preface it with a question? I don't understand why he just gives out that answer. I didn't see the video of the conversation that took place.
I mean,
Did they ask him about the 49ers or?
No, they never directly asked him anything about the 49ers. And he never specifically brought up, Trey Lance by name, but he brought up, other quarterbacks that were drafted and, the style of quarterbacks that he likes. And he said for a quarterback to be successful coming out of college and to be a starter in this league, that he looks for somebody that has a lot of experience, a lot of starting experience. And he brought up guys like Pickett and Joe Burrow, that Joe Burrow stayed the extra year and got that, that time under his belt, that Pickett stayed an extra year in college and got that extra time under his belt. So like, we know the biggest thing about Trey is he don't have that experience. Right. And yet, that was something he made sure to bring up.
Oh, well, he's no longer a 49 anymore. So if he has sour grapes or whatever, who cares? He's irrelevant in my book.
I have a question for you too, and for the chat. I think I brought this up a couple months ago, Miriah, when we were talking, because I feel like Trey gets so much hate, and I agree with Tanya. Like, so many people want this man to fail, and I just don't understand why. Do you guys? And I don't see the same hate for Justin Fields. Like, I don't hear anything from him. So let me ask you guys this, because we've brought up the situation with the African American quarterbacks, how people kind of frown upon them because they don't think that they have the intelligence to lead a team, this and that. Do you guys think that Trey has so much pressure and people are talking about him more because people think that 49ers are more of a win now team? Because I feel like if Trey was on Jacksonville or the Jets, he wouldn't be getting this hate. I just think it's just because he's for a storied franchise and that we're so close to winning a Super Bowl that I think maybe that's why he gets so much hate. Do you guys think that could be the case?
I'll answer that one. Yeah, that's like you mentioned the recent success. Who was the quarterback? Jimmy G. So some of these people just like they're enamored by the fact that we went so far and Jimmy was our guy and Jimmy looks the part and everything else, and it just all falls in their brain, and they won't let go of that. And I think that's a big part of it. I think that's most of them. Now some of them, people don't like what we say, but some of them there definitely could be some racism, about this whole not wanting Trey Lance to be there. And it's so weird because and throw the racism part aside. Let's just say in general, just a general hate for Trey, because it's just, at the end of the day, it's always going to be hate. So I had Smitty on the other day, and I forgot he's like a former psychiatry major, and he was like talking about like he had this whole theory behind it, something that he read in books where it's like these people have fear of wanting to be wrong. So it's weird because they're Niner fans. You think if you're a Niner fan, hey, it's a win-win situation. Even if you're wrong about Jimmy, you should still be happy when Trey Lance succeeds. But it's almost like they want Trey to fail because they're going to keep one up in the ante on them being right the whole time, So I forgot the name of the complex he had for it, but Smitty really, really knocked it out of the park when he brought that up on my show. But it makes a lot of sense, man. These guys are just afraid to be wrong.
Yeah, and like Ronnie Niner says, shout out to him. Make sure you guys check him out as well. Says that hate comes from Jimmy stands, and partial, that is a lot of them, is that these people love Jimmy so much that, they hate on this guy just because they don't want him to start. They don't want him to take over because they want Jimmy to be the quarterback, So it's like so unfair. Like they're not even giving the kid a chance, because they're just Jimmy stands. It's like, it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad. And you guys are right too. And I agree with you, Bashar. There's a lot of it too where people just want to be right. So I think there was so many people. Like I feel like, the fan base was so split on who we wanted at quarterback. I feel like it was like a third wanted Fields, a third wanted Lance, and a third wanted Mac Jones. You know what I mean? So I think when it comes down to it, like they look at people were so in on, oh, we're going to get Mac Jones. We're going to get Mac Jones. He has to be the pick because coming from the national media as well. And I think that people at the end of the day were so pissed because they thought for sure we were getting Mac Jones and it didn't happen. So I think that's where the hate comes in that, because they just want Trey to fail so bad so they can be right and say, see, we should have went with Mac Jones at number 3 because we wouldn't have the situation because he played at Alabama. He played against top competition, wherever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I'm going to put my money on Trey Lance all day. Me and Miriah both took him at the sports book and bet for him to be the quarterback. I have the receipt.
I wish I was there with you guys.
Yeah, I was at I still have my ticket. I screenshotted it because people like to say, no, I don't think you knew. No, 10 days before the draft, I put my money on Trey Lance to be the drafted for the 49ers, and I still have it. So I told people, Trey he's had his back against the wall his whole career. I mean, not getting the D1 scholarship, they wanted him to play defense, this and that. And then the fact that he went to a D2 school, banked on himself, and became the 3rd overall pick. I'm going to bank on him to going forward because I feel like he's mentally strong enough to handle all this adversity. Like this kid just comes from, and the fact that he has such a good support group at home, his dad, his mom, with Kyle and all that stuff, I don't have any worries about Trey whatsoever.
It's good that you mentioned that something about Trey's past, and because there's you probably seen it already. Maybe you and Miriah both saw it already, but it's an excellent documentary. It's free. It's on YouTube. It's called The Choice. It was produced by Matt Miyoko. Everybody knows who Matt Miyoko is. And obviously it was aired on NBC Sports Bay Area. And I definitely recommend that to any 49er fan out there. I don't care if you're a Trey guy or a Jimmy guy, any 49er fan needs to see this. It depicts it basically talks about his whole upbringing and, all the struggles that he had to fight through and everything. It's just a great documentary. You should check it out.
I agree, Bashar. It gives me goosebumps, man, when I look at that YouTube video because, and I've said this a couple times on the show, and this is what really got me with Trey. When I heard on the documentary that when his dad was talking and his dad was said that Trey told him Dad, is it cool if we get up a couple times a week at 5:00? We can go run, go throw the football around, this and that. And his dad was like, well, I'm not getting up at 5, but if you come and wake me up, then we'll go.
Yeah.
And Trey dedicated himself at 15, 16 years old to get his butt up at 5. I know when I was 15, 16, I want my sleep. I'm not getting up that
Me
early.
too.
I'm not getting up. I mean, exactly. So the fact that he was 15, 16, and he woke up his dad to go take a jog with him and then throw the football around, that shows dedication at such a young age. That at 22 years old, I'm sure that he's hearing all this noise, and I'm sure his confidence now is going through the roof. Like he's working in silence, and that's awesome to me. Like he's not posting a bunch of videos and, oh, look at this throw, look at that throw. You know what I mean? Real G's move in silence. That's old school. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna come out and do his thing. So
Trey's work ethic is impeccable, and for all these Jimmy doubters, they have something coming for them because they're gonna be, pleasantly surprised or displeasantly surprised.
Absolutely.
I guess in this case.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I've said from day one that that's, some of the reasons why I've liked him since, he very first said he was coming into the draft was because of his work ethic, how much, he's, like you said, shown everybody wrong his entire career up until this point. So why would we think that he's going to start doing anything different? And like you said, he's not posting videos of himself. However, we have seen videos out there. So we do know that he's out there working, he's putting in the work. We heard, how he's always, calling people and checking with people to see how he can get better. And, like all those different things that we haven't heard about, many quarterbacks with the 49ers in recent memory doing, You said bring up what I had said about Subway. I forget what it was.
It was on my show when you were in my chat, and you said like something. We were talking about how like Jimmy G's doing the Subways.
That has a trash mascot to match it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Subway's trash, so they got the perfect mascot now, Jimmy G.
Yeah.
It was me, but it was funny.
My daughter used to love Subway, and oh my gosh, she would want to eat it every day if she could. And
I liked it back in the day. I liked it when I was like in junior high, maybe high school, around there. But once you have better options, you're like, what? Sub who? What?
Yeah,
exactly.
I've always rather have Porta Subs here.
Same here.
Now there's other places.
You know what? What's the name of that place again?
Porta Subs.
I saw one out here where I live out in Roseville. Well, actually, it's in Rockland next door, but very close by. And I didn't know what it was, so I didn't try it yet. But I might have to check it out.
It's really good, man. Get their turkey bacon avocado.
Since you guys are in Vegas, I kept eating at this one sandwich spot over in Planet Hollywood, that Miracle Mile.
It's called Earl of Sandwich.
Earl of Sandwich. Dude, I had it like three. I was there for like 4 days. I had it 3 times for lunch, man.
Earl of Sandwich. I knew exactly what
I
you're
just kept
talking
ordering
about.
the roast beef every day, and I was like, this is Bob. I don't care.
Yeah.
I did, David brings up here, and it is something, that Rich did talk about in that interview as well, that it does matter a lot, where the quarterback is going and, the system and how, we can see the best, the highest scouted quarterbacks coming out of college, and then they go to a shit team, which we see happen all the time, the Jets and, all those losers.
Jags and all that,
yeah. And, then the quarterbacks get labeled a bust because they're put into a shitty situation, but yet the last 20 quarterbacks in that same situation are all labeled busts, like obviously it's the situation they're getting put into, so he brings up, obviously, if they're going to a great organization and have the supporting staff around him and have, great players around him and the team buys into him, that makes, it don't have to be the most talented quarterback in the world because he's going to succeed because he's put into that right situation. So
Trey is fortunate to be drafted by the Niners, and considering how good we are, so
absolutely.
And we're fortunate to get him. It's like a perfect marriage. And considering look how bad this past quarterback class looks like it can be, it's like, wow, we really lucked out to suck at the right time and pick up Trey Lance.
Exactly.
And it makes sense now, like if that was their plan all along to sit Trey the first year, like they said, and like they did, that they did move up to draft, him or a quarterback last year, because look how the quarterbacks were this year, like they knew they had to replace Jimmy sooner or later. So why would they have waited till this draft when we had all these suck guys come out?
I had somebody yelling and screaming at my friend last year's hardcore New Yorker with a thick accent. Nothing bad against New Yorkers, but he claims to be a 49er fan. Imagine if Niner Mike had an evil midget twin brother. That's what this guy would be. This guy is like yelling and screaming, oh, you never trade away picks like that for a quarterback. If anything, we should have traded away for next year's draft because the quarterbacks coming out are better. They're better. And
I heard that before.
he was yelling. Oh, yeah, I sent you that. He was yelling at me and my friend. And I just want to, oh my gosh, if I was still talking to that guy, I'd totally laugh in his face.
That guy reminds me of how that guy AD 49ers, how he would sound.
maybe he does sound like that.
Yeah. He probably does.
Maybe they're the same person. I'm still like, is that picture of like the little short ass guy going around that they say is AD 49ers? Is that really him? Like, do we know, or is that just a joke?
I saw AD 49ers' name floating around on Twitter, but I never got involved in these conversations. But every now and then you'd see that ridiculous anti-Trey talk and pumping up Jimmy G as if he's Joe Montana or something. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not down for that. Whatever.
Yeah. So we have rookie mini camp starting May 13th, 3 days. We get to take a look at the rookies in 49ers uniforms and on a 49ers field for the first time. What are you guys looking forward to seeing? Like, what are your thoughts on the?
You want to go first, T.O., on that one?
Yeah, I can go. I'm interested to see our corners. Samuel Womack and Tariq Castro-Fields, they're going to be in prime position to try to win that fourth corner spot. I don't think that Ward, Ambry Thomas, or Emmanuel Mosley are going to get beat out. I think those three spots are pretty secure. And then we also got Jason Verrett coming back, and we'll see what happens with him and how he's healthy. But yeah, I think, and then like Tanya mentioned in our last show, I think our training camp's going to be fire. You know what I mean? Like, there's some position groups like corner, wide receiver, running back, and D-line. It's just going to be crazy. But as far as the rookie camp, obviously I'm looking forward to see Danny Gray. Like, he's probably the pick I'm excited about the most. I kind of wish it wasn't just rookie mini camp. I kind of wish like the second year guys could come in too. I wish they would start combining them too. The first, the rookies, because you look at, Aaron Banks and all of them who got like no snaps. I'd like for them to come in a little early and get some work in. You know what I mean?
Trey Lance,
yeah, like let Trey Lance come in. I'm pretty much our whole class of 2021. Got hardly no snaps except for Elijah Mitchell. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see them come in because, it's going to be interesting, man. This TDP, how hungry is he going to be? I mean, he has to come in and do his thing because, not only does he have to beat Elijah Mitchell, everybody forgets about Trey Sermon. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't think he's just going to lay down and be like, oh, they drafted a third round running back. He's going to want to play. So, yeah. So Danny Gray, I'm excited about the two corners. Brock Purdy, I want to see what he can do. Hopefully he can come in and he's a sponge because I'm not a huge fan of Sudfeld. I'm a ride for him because he's a Niner, but I think he could be beat out for that second spot. You know what I mean? Undrafted guys, I've mentioned it last time. You got Tay Martin coming in, and I'm really excited about that linebacker out of North Carolina, Jeremiah Gemmel. I think, I'm just so excited, man. Like, Before I was a fullback, I was a weak side linebacker. So I love that position. That's probably my favorite position on the field. The fact that D'Amico Ryan's going to get his hands on 3 undrafted linebackers excites me. Like, I look at the development of Flanagan Foles, Aziz, and then a 5th rounder and Dre Greenlaw. Like, those linebackers coming in are all athletic. So I can't wait to see what D'Amico Ryan's, what he does with those guys. But yeah, it should be interesting. Like I said, I wish they'd have like first and second year guys come in, especially because, like I said, because Aaron Banks and them probably got no snaps. But yeah, it should be interesting. It starts Friday and it ends on Sunday. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I don't know if you guys saw my live Danny Gray reaction, but I am pretty hyped up about us getting him. I was on Celts Chronicles channel. Shout out to Celts. Great dudes. I'll hit him up. As I was literally sitting in front of my laptop for 4 hours and 20 minutes with him. For a good 3 hours of the show, I probably dropped Danny Gray's name as a player I wanted a good, 50 times. I should make a mashup video of that. And then so when they finally announced his name, I was just yelling and screaming or whatever, like a kid in a candy store. But obviously that, to me, that's a no-brainer that you brought that up. But what I'm really, really concerned is I want to hear, I know it's early training camp and all this, but I want to hear some rave reviews about Drake Jackson. Not that I want our O-line to look bad, because again, it's a double-edged sword, because I love O-line too, and I love the fact that we went in the draft, and we didn't necessarily do it early when people were mad on day 1 and day 2 that we didn't address the O-line. But, I just think we acquired a lot of depth in the O-line, and there's going to be a lot of great competition for the O-line, which is great. So obviously I want the O-line to look good. But then again, they're not going to be hitting. But with pass rushing, though, on the edge and all that, and the whole Ben thing that they talked about with Drake Jackson, I definitely want him to show out. And the corners, I mean, hey, we just signed Verrett. I didn't think we even needed to sign, but hey, why not? Bring him back. But we still have Diamador Lenore. Ambry Thomas was looking really nice towards the end of last season.
Absolutely.
And Terry Castro Fields, I wasn't really aware of, but I heard he's got great speed and size. And a lot of people were saying that was a pick that kind of fell to us. And then Womack, I wasn't really familiar with these guys, but I'm hearing a lot of good things that Womack can compete and possibly be our nickel. And then, just the fact that we have all these depth pieces like competing with each other, and then we picked up so many UDFAs, and everyone was hooting and hollering, why aren't the 49ers drafting Donovan West while the draft is going? And lo and behold, he falls in our laps as a undrafted center. So maybe he could possibly step in and, replace Alex Mack if need be. Preferably next year. I wouldn't want him as a rookie starting necessarily just yet, unless we're forced to. But I love the fact that we picked up all these rookies, and we're going to possibly see some little clips here and there on, rookie mini camp. No pads, I get it, but it's cool to see a little glimpse. And obviously, Ty Davis Price I'm definitely interested to hear about him doing well.
Yeah. Before I go, we'll go ahead and do a giveaway right now. We'll do the number picker again, 1 through 100. Everybody pick your number in the chat.
Let's go.
You guys are doing that. I definitely, TDP, of course. I think he's going to come into this offense and do big things this year. I think O-line, like you talked about. And, it's funny because that's one of the things I was going to touch on is that when the O-line and the D-line are doing their one-on-ones, somebody has to lose. It's like, and yet people are always like, oh, he lost every rep, or he lost, talking about whichever side it is. And it's just like, well, like they should be splitting them. But at the end of the day, somebody's supposed to lose half those reps, like don't get too hard on these guys for losing freaking one-on-ones, because they're going against other guys that we need to be winning and losing as well.
And at the end of the day, we know we have a strong team that just went to NFC Championship game. So if somebody's losing a battle, it's not the end of the world. You lost your battle to a pretty damn good football player.
Exactly. That's facts.
Yep. And like you brought up, TL, of course, big play Tay. Super excited to see what he'll do, but even more
Tayseer Mack, right, from Pittsburgh, or is it the other guy?
Oh, Martin from Oklahoma State.
Tay Martin, they're both Tays.
They are. Yep,
yeah, I get them confused. Yep. Yeah, the other guy, I didn't really watch the one from Oklahoma State, but I watched the guy from Mack a little bit, from Pittsburgh a little bit. Tayseer Mack, I watched him a little bit. You know what though? Don't count out. Was it Malik Turner, that wide receiver? I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, these are some nobody wide receivers that we signed," but don't count Malik Turner out for the last wide receivers position. But we'll see. We'll see who wins that battle.
Yeah, I mean, once everybody gets there in training camp and all that, there's going to be some crazy battles, like wide receivers, like you said. We have so many wide receivers like on the team right now.
I think before the draft we signed like 4 or 5 of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and people are forgetting about that Keyshawn Johnson guy too that played for Arizona for the last couple of years. He's pretty solid. So that wide receiver room is going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be some excellent training camp battles. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be interesting, and OTAs and stuff. So.
Trying to make sure that nobody picked the same number twice. I don't think I saw anybody.
Why didn't you do the duck race? Niner Sickness did it. I've seen other people do it too. I forgot who else.
Another guy I want to bring up too, who is so athletic and so big, is that Jason Poe.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious.
He's trying to be a fullback in his little video.
He wants to be a fullback. Like he has like some talent of a tight end kinda. I mean, I think Kyle's kind of salivating, like, man, I can do some things with this dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of my favorite guys that we got, even with the drafted guys was Poe. Undrafted, drafted was my favorite guy was Poe. So, of course, I'm super excited to see. And he's just so athletic, like, does such crazy things, at that size.
He said at
And
school, like his last year of school, he ran like a 4.7, and that's insane for being 300 pounds.
yeah,
Oh, 4.7?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, damn. I know Joe
yeah,
Staley ran a 4.7 when he was drafted. Not sure what he
Yeah.
weighed, but he was always pretty damn big.
Yeah, he was he's because he started off at tight end at Western Michigan,
Yeah.
then went to he ran a 4.7 too. He was fast.
And Trent Williams also ran a 4.7. That's just crazy. I wish I had speed like that. and damn 220 in high school. Freaking 4.7. Wow. I couldn't even get a 4.9 in high school.
Oh really? I was pretty fast. I ran a 4.57 my senior year in high school.
What position did you play? Oh, you played linebacker, right?
I was so funny. I started off at quarterback when I was young, but then I'm only 5'8", so people started outgrowing me, so I had trouble seeing over the line. So then they switched me to defense, and I was weak side linebacker. And then my junior year, this guy was just better than me. And I was just like, they were like, "Hey, do you want to play fullback because you can hit?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can hit people and score touchdowns, absolutely." So then I moved to fullback.
I would have loved to have been a fullback. Oh, that was my dream to run the ball in the game. I started out playing D tackle, then it moved me to guard. And I was never fast, but I was always very agile and aware, and I always knew the angles. And I made up for my lack of speed, you could say.
Did Tanya win it?
I think.
I see. The number was 41, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can look too.
And what are we giving away today?
Cards. This one will be for Elijah Mitchell, rookie card.
Is it signed?
No, it's not signed.
Okay, I know you guys. I didn't mean to put you on blast.
Oh,
He
no.
wasn't.
But
Yeah, he
you
wasn't
guys
able to
went- you
sign
guys-
anything.
Oh, he wasn't, because I know you guys went to the event and met up with him.
Yeah.
Really? That's weird.
Well, they did sign something for us. It's a
Yeah,
picture.
they
but
signed
not,
pictures,
like we
yeah.
couldn't take our own things.
Yeah, I
and
saw
get
something in
signed.
the rules where if you brought a jersey, they couldn't sign it, or
No.
they had something with some contract with the agent that was going on. That's all I can
Yeah,
guess.
so
from.
Fred Warner was able to sign because he was on his second contract. But Elijah Mitchell, I guess on your rookie contract, there's like some stipulations and stuff where you're not able to sign like outside stuff. So they had pictures for us to sign for sure, like they gave us. But you couldn't bring in helmets. You couldn't bring in because like even at the NFL experience, like people were taking stuff to Debo, and Debo was like, "I can't sign it because he's on his first contract." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I never knew that they even, and I knew that the agents had a part in what the players do, but I didn't know that they were so specific and particular about what you can autograph. That's cool.
Man, screw you. I'm signing this. This is a fan.
Did you guys try to meet Debo that day too, or you weren't there for that?
I did.
Yeah. He was at the NFL experience on Friday. I got to meet him. It was pretty cool.
Oh, really? What did he say?
Nothing. I mean, he had such a big line. I really didn't get to talk to him much. It was just a
Screw your scrub team.
Does he look big in person? Because to me, he doesn't. I mean, I know he's a bigger, bulkier wide receiver, but he just doesn't really look big on TV.
He looks like an average dude. I mean, he's like 5. I think he might be 6 foot. Like he's like 6 foot, but he's like 220. Just an average looking dude. I mean, you know what I mean? Like Fred Warner's big.
Yeah.
Like Fred Warner's huge.
Yeah, I could tell I saw him.
But Elijah Mitchell and Debo just is like average dudes you see walking down the street. So, yeah.
You never know what these athletes can do on the field, though. That's
exactly. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yes, Tanya, you won. Congrats. But yeah, the Fred Warner picture, one of them that we did end up getting signed, we're doing a giveaway for that at 500 subs.
Nice. Congratulations to Tanya. Make him say ow.
Yeah. The celebrity.
I always say that too.
Ow.
There was a song
Tanya
with
got
that
skills
little
like
thing.
that. No, I'm just playing, Tanya.
I had started some stuff up here. I want to go up to real quick. Swan says, there's a shot that D'Amico's still on the 49ers next season. Do you think that he ends up getting, if we see him have the same kind of season that we had last season or better, he improves, which, you would hope somebody does. Do you think we end up losing him this year?
He's gone. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna keep it a buck. If he goes out there and he's in the second year with pretty much the same amount of guys, our defense is going to be better, and I think he's gone. He's going to be a head coach come 2023 in my eyes.
I'll be happy for him in terms of his life and the money he can possibly make, and I don't see him turning down the money. But as a Niner fan, though, I'll be kind of mad. Like, damn, man, why do we keep having loose coordinators? This sucks. I want to ask you guys, since you guys were out kicking it got to meet Breezy and John Chapman. Let me know how that experience was, because I haven't had the chance to go to one of Chapman's meetups or whatever.
Yeah, this is the second one that I had went to. I did go to the one last year in LA as well. Um, I loved this one in Vegas. I might be partial because it was in Vegas. It's my home. So, but yeah, it was awesome. We met a lot of great people there. Of course, meeting Fred and Elijah. That was the added bonus. But meeting all the content creators, them being there, doing their show live right there from the party. Fred even jumped on the show with them. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, the
Saw
vibe
that.
was great. There was some people that are a little tipsy in my area, but
Yeah, so what's on the
Yeah,
bar there? It's Vegas, so put two and two
yeah,
together.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was an open bar and everything.
yeah,
So it was open bar.
Okay, open bar.
They were passing around food. There was like these sirloin sliders. They had like
yeah, the
shish
food was
kebabs.
bomb.
They had some good food, man. Like and
Okay,
it was
okay.
it was all you can eat food, open bar. So you already know how that turned out. Everybody was cool, man. Like Fred Warner, super cool. As soon as I walked up, he was like, "Dude, that's a nice shirt." Like he complimented my shirt and stuff, and then we started
Oh,
talking.
was it a
And then
Niner shirt?
it wasn't a 49er shirt. But
He was mad dog in mine.
it's this fitness guy I listened to, and maybe he knew who he was or something. So I just looked at my shirt. He's like, "That's a nice shirt." And then like we started talking and stuff. I was like, "Yeah, I used to watch you at BYU," and he was like, "Oh, that's what's up, man." So I had a quick little conversation with him. He shook my hand real quick, and then I kept it pushing. And then yeah, and then Elijah Mitchell, he was super cool too. Like he was just
Yeah,
like, "Hey, how you doing, fam?" And this and that, and it sucked too because people had a bunch of merchandise, and you can tell he wanted to sign it so bad, but he just couldn't, man. He just
Yeah, that's just
like
how the game is.
yeah. So, but yeah, it was a great experience, and then I had the opportunity to go to both events. Mariah went to the Thursday one, and then she did the show with nothing but Niners on Friday.
Okay.
But I went to the meetup too. This was a private one. It was kind of a smaller, more intimate thing. And yeah, this was at one of the pubs in Vegas off the strip, so it was a little bit easier to get to, and didn't have to
Gordon
worry about
Biersch, right?
Gordon Bursch. Yep,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah. So it was a cool little meet. It was funny though because when we picked Tyrion Davis Price, the whole room was kind of quiet. Everybody was just like, "Did we
You
just
should,
pick a running back?" Like,
you should see me on Kelt's channel. Like I'm trying to be positive and rah rah the whole
yeah,
time before the picks, and I was like, dude, I have to announce the pick, and I was just like
yeah.
confused, man. I was
It was
I was
funny,
like, who
man.
is
Like,
this guy? Like right back this early? What?
yeah, when Drake Jackson got picked, everybody was like shouting, like, "Yeah, yeah, Edge, this and that." It was funny because everybody was like, "We have to take a safety. It was going to be a safety O line." So and then we took Edge, and
I
but
knew
everybody
it
was
was.
happy.
I knew it was going to be an edge, and
Did you?
honestly, I wanted edge too. I
Oh
wanted
wow.
that's what.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and me and Breezy had just got through arguing. It was funny because I was like, "We ain't taking no Edge. We got Kamiko Turway, Kerry Hyder just came back. We got Ebo Kama, Minihue." I was like, "We ain't taking no Edge." I go, "That wouldn't make any sense." He goes, "No, we need a speed guy. Everybody's on a 1 year deal." I go, "Yeah, but you can train a fourth rounder to sit for a year." And then sure enough, Drake Jackson, and he looked at me and I was just like, "You were right, bro."
And he
I'm like,
comes
"You were
from
right."
49er blood, man. He sees his grandma sitting right
Yeah.
by him.
yeah,
Young looking grandma, by the way, but doesn't look like everybody's grandma.
That's because black don't crack, brother. But
that's facts
but
for real.
yeah.
So
But
anyway,
no.
she's wearing this long
Like
sleeve,
I'm so jealous of that.
Niner get up. She's just dressed up in all Niner stuff. Like, damn, did she know something? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
but yeah, so yeah, no, it was an awesome experience, man. Like it was just funny. Like everybody had fun, and then at the second event, it was like all you can eat pizza and wings. So it was pretty cool, man. So
Oh man, I missed
they
out.
fed
I
us,
missed out the
yeah. So they
pizza.
fed us well. Like I got to give John Chapman his props, man. He put together 2 great days of events, man. So I got to give him his props. So yeah,
Shout out to
shout out to
Chapman.
you, Chapman.
Chapman,
Chapman
great
and
dude.
Breezy held it down, man. So
And
Shout out to
shout out
Breezy
to
too.
John Chapman's wife because she's there
yeah,
working her ass off the whole
yeah,
time.
she is
Oh,
She's,
damn.
absolutely.
yeah, she's doing like, he's there on the show. So anything that's
Mhm.
happened to be done, like in the room with the guests, with,
Raffle
the
tickets,
staff,
yeah,
the raffle, all
yep,
that, she's having to take care of. So, shout out to her for holding shit
absolutely,
down.
absolutely.
I see a few people bringing up that, what do you guys think about Fangio taking over if we do lose D'Amico?
Go ahead, Bashar.
Well, Fangio's a 3-4 guy. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but has he ever deviated from that in the NFL so far? I don't think he has. But me personally, I'd hate to move away from the 3-4 because we're so strong on the D line, and that's where most of our talent is. So our defense is pretty much built for it. I know people, I noticed this a lot. No offense to you guys, you two, or anybody else out there, but a lot of people hold on to this Harbaugh nostalgia as if Super Bowls came from it, as it, we're holding Lombardis, and we still have to go back, bring back Harbaugh, bring back Fangio. I notice it so much, and I know there's romanticizing the past and all that, but I mean, it's cool if somebody comes back and we had success with him, but I'm not going to be heartbroken, or I'm not going to worry about it. And I know there's always going to be some type of talent that we can pick up if D'Amico leaves. Again, it just sucks. I like Salah a lot, and I like D'Amico a lot, and it seems like the whole league like just goes after our coaches like a bunch of piranhas. And if we were hoisting up Lombardi trophies every single year, I'd be okay with it. But I am a little worried because it just sucks having to search for that coach, every 2 years or so.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Fangio, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he ran 4-3 when he was with Chicago Bears. I don't think he went to a 3-4.
Okay, so he did run a 4-3 with the Bears?
Yeah, I think so. Really? Because I believe so. I mean, I'll find out, and then
you might be right.
If I'm wrong, I'll say I don't think Chicago ever changed. But anyway, to stay on that stuff, I agree, man. I mean, I like Fangio, but hopefully there's somebody on the roster like a D'Amico Ryans who's being groomed.
That's what I hope too.
Who can take over? Because you sat there with D'Amico Ryans. He was such a great linebackers coach that he deserved that defensive coordinator spot. I mean, hopefully, I think Chris Kocurek, I think he loves being a D-line coach, because I would love him to take over full time as D coordinator if that were the case. But yeah, hopefully there's somebody like a secondaries coach, or maybe like an assistant D coordinator, or maybe even, I don't know, like Anthony Lynn. I don't know. Hopefully there's somebody that they have on the roster that they can groom to take over for him. Somebody who's been with the system, who knows the player's strengths and weaknesses. But I agree. I'd hate to go to a 3-4, because that means you got to have Bosa putting on weight, and
exactly,
and
messes up everything.
And we saw all that stuff that regime tried to do with Balky and Harbaugh and all of them. Like, we got players like the Tank Carradines, who played at 265 at Florida State. Then they're
we
like,
can't flip flop with them. We kept
they kept going. Okay, now I want you to put on 25 pounds to 290 and play edge, like defensive end in a 3-4. Like, you can't be doing that to players, man. Like, you drafted them for a reason. Stick to what they're good at, because Bosa is an excellent 4-3 defensive end. I'd hate for you try to make him a stand-up linebacker or something. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So.
And they kept trying to flip-flop Drake Jackson around too, make him lose weight at different positions. But what everybody's saying is they feel that his niche and his strength is being a 4-3 defensive end around 270 range, which he is now. Yes. It's weird because at the combine, Drake Jackson weighed he weighed about 254, and then like almost a month later, 273. So I hope he didn't lose his agility, but everybody says that he looks his best at that height and weight. So that's cool, man.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on it, Miriah?
Yeah, I hope that we promote from within. I don't want Fangio for the same reasons. I don't want him switching up our scheme. And even if he did that in Chicago, that's not his strength. Like, that's not his number one thing to do. And that's already where the whispers last year, that if Fangio were to come in, that he would switch up the system. So I don't know. I'm not cool with that.
John V said something funny. You popped it up. Yeah. So I'll bet your pizza
to find
oven.
It again. I don't know where
Bashar, I'll bet you your pizza oven we bring Fangio.
Yeah.
There
it is. I hope not, JV.
And like you said about people wanting to bring back old people, and it's like, we didn't win a Super Bowl with freaking Harbaugh. It's like, I know everybody wants to act like he was so great and everything. We got to the Super Bowl, but at the end of the day, he lost too. Like, he didn't fucking win. So,
but it's weird though, because I know Shanahan doesn't get Shanahan almost lost two Shanahan lost the Super Bowl and pretty much lost the AFC Championship game. Very similar success. And then Shanahan almost doesn't get the praise as Harbaugh.
Shanahan gets hated.
I think it's because we never made the playoffs for a long. We had a longer streak of not making the playoffs, so Harbaugh was just like raised really, really high. But it's cool, man. It's cool if hey, I want to win Super Bowls too. But I think now that we're doing the Trey Lance quarterback change, a lot of people don't think we're going that route for whatever weird reason. But I think we'll see brighter days ahead of us. I really do. And one more thing I want to mention, I think it's kind of funny with the fans when they sit there and say like, oh, well, if D'Amico Ryans leaves, we'll bring in Patrick Willis and he'll be our D coordinator. They assume like every 49er legend is just so up and willing to be a coach of some sort. They don't realize
Steve
that
Young to be the quarterback coach. You know, it's like,
yeah, I mean,
you know how much work they got to put in for a little money, you know?
Exactly.
No, a lot of these, they don't understand in the coaching world. Sometimes you're working 12 to 15 days.
Yeah.
Like, so they're not going to want to do that.
Yeah, and then with Patrick Willis, I mean, as much as I love the guy, I don't care how great he was. You don't be like, hey, you're going to go straight to defensive coordinator. You're going to be the linebackers coach, and you're going to work your way up just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Because great players, as we know from Mike Singletary, don't always make good coaches. So,
yeah, he took us to 3 NFC championships, but is that what we're celebrating? Fucking hanging NFC championship banners in the house now? Because at the end of the day, he didn't win the Super Bowl. Like the same as Kyle, he gets hated for taking us for 2 NFC championships in the Super Bowl. He gets hated for losing a fucking Super Bowl in Atlanta that he was the OC. He wasn't even the head coach, but he gets the hate for it. You know?
No, I tell people that they like, oh, well, Kyle choked against Atlanta. Like, well, hold on. Well, does he get those extra wins, all those wins that Atlanta had during the season in the playoffs? You know, are you going to add those wins to his coaching resume because you anointed him as a head coach when he was never a head coach with the Falcons? You know, so it's kind of so weird, man.
Do you guys think that Kyle gets more hate than Harbaugh because he had leads in the fourth quarter and then we end up losing the games? That's where I think the hate comes from. Because I feel like, you know, everybody's always feels like how he changes up the scheme. Like, well, why didn't he run the ball? It was 7 minutes left and we were up. And I think that's where the hate comes from.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, who was the coordinator that we had?
Greg Roman.
Greg Roman. I was totally blanked on his name, even though I've said it so many damn times in my life. I was gonna say I was really unhappy with Greg Roman's play calls in the clutch when we had him, and people were like, "Oh, but that's Greg Roman's fault." But they forget that. Remember how we used to always get those stupid delayed game penalties? Like the play calls would come down from Greg Roman and then down to Harbaugh, then to the field, and so Harbaugh saw all these plays apparently, from what I've been told, so Harbaugh did have his hand in the offense, obviously, because of that. And you know, those play calls in the crunch time were questionable too, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say same thing, JV, because he said Singletary bit essentially what Harbaugh took over. I agree, but so like you said, just because you know how to scout talent doesn't mean you know how to put it together. Because I can sit there and be like, "Oh, great linebacker," but if I don't know how to coach him up, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle took over a team that was shit, you know. Harbaugh took over a team that was great, and then he brought in people and turned that team was a fucking dumpster fire. Like, we had the worst character people in there. They were fucking each other's girlfriends. Like, they hated each other, you know, and like,
I'm so happy about this show today.
People. Like, let's not keep the people that are going to, you know, bring in high-class guys, the best in the business, you know, like, no.
And let's keep it real too.
Ridiculous.
When Kyle took over, our best receivers were a washed-up Pierre Garçon and Jeremy Curley. Like, come on, like we had a trash roster.
That roster, that Chip Kelly season was so trash. I think they were third. They had the third worst run defense in NFL history. Like you, me, or Miriah, whoever could have at least ran up the middle for a good 3 or 4 yards. You know, every other player. So seriously, it's like it was atrocious, and they built that team from just straight up pure garbage. It was even worse than the Singletary teams. You know, before Harbaugh started winning. You know, so. Hey, look, man, I'm happy with the direction we're going, and I'm really extremely happy to be on the show today because I get to witness Miriah, you know, dropping multiple F-bombs. It just makes the show so much better.
That's every show.
That's Miriah. That's Miriah for you.
I had to drop them for both of us, so.
Oh, I appreciate it. I didn't drop one yet, but hey, you did it for me.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and do another giveaway now. Guys, go ahead and put your numbers in the chat, 1 through 100.
Give it away now.
So after rookie mini camp, that's from, you know, May 13th for 3 days, the next time that we'll see the whole gang there. And, you know, we have important dates coming up for people like Alex Mack. Do we hear if he's coming back to the team or not? Debo, do we get him an extension by mandatory mini camp, which is June 14th? But OTAs start May 23rd, and then they're like random days, you know, throughout that month. So, you know, we're going to, you know, soon, hopefully, we start seeing a lot of the team in there. But do you think, like, it seems, you know, in previous years with Kyle, we've had a great, you know, rate of the team showing up, you know, even for the stuff that wasn't mandatory. You know, it seemed like we almost had like a 99%, 100%, you know, show up rate to stuff that wasn't even mandatory. Obviously, I'm not expecting that we see Debo. I'm not expecting that if he doesn't get signed by training camp, I'm not expecting him to be there. I'm not expecting him to show up at all if he doesn't get an extension. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that we do end up getting Alex Mack back? And do you think there's any other players that we can, you know, think about not seeing at these, you know, things coming up?
Okay. Wasn't there like a mandatory workout of some sort that Alex Mack did not attend? And he got fined $100,000. I wasn't sure if that happened or not, but I could have sworn Jay and the Bay talked about it on his show not too long ago. Or maybe he was assuming that for the future that if he doesn't show up to it. Did you guys know anything about that?
No, I'm not sure.
No.
About that.
Okay. So maybe he was just assuming that it may happen. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Alex Mack back so he can mentor these young rookies. I don't really want to press a rookie into the starting role unless they truly just go out and dominate the trenches in camp. You know, but, you know, hey, you know, why not bring Alex Mack for one more time? Let him teach Donovan West or whoever else may take over weight in the wings. So I'm for it.
Yeah. So the stuff that's not mandatory, I wouldn't be surprised like if Bosa doesn't show up. He'll probably keep working out in Florida, which I'm cool with. Like I feel like, you know, whatever he's doing, just continue to do it. Like the dude's a monster. You don't have to worry about him coming in out of shape or getting in trouble, whatever the case may be. And my only hope is let's get into this off season with no injuries. That's my main concern. Like, let's go in there. Like, I don't want to see no ACL tears. I don't want to see torn Achilles. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, last year I think we did okay as far as health, and I just want to continue that. Like, I don't whatever that they did last year, let's continue it. Like, it sucks that Tarvarius Moore, you know, tore his Achilles last year. Like, you know, let's get let's get through all this offseason stuff with no injury, so we can go into training camp healthy and all this other stuff. Debo, that's kind of tough because, I mean, I don't know when the fines start. But if he don't have a new deal and him making, and that's funny, it still blows my mind. So if he doesn't sign a new deal, him and Azeez Al-Shaair will make the same amount of money in 2022. They'll both be making $4 million, which is crazy to me. Debo, I just don't see him not showing up and getting fined 40 grand a day. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? So even if he does show up, he'll probably do the bare minimum and just be like, okay, I'm out. Because as long as he shows up and participates a little bit, he won't get fined. So if he really wants to be like, oh, I'm just not going to get fined, I just want to show up, he's probably go out there, he'll stretch, run a couple routes and be like, I'm done for the day. You know what I mean? I just don't see him sitting out getting fined that much money per day. Now, if he was making, well, he wouldn't be sitting out, but I'm saying like, it would be more understandable for somebody making maybe 10, 12 million a year, making 4, and you get fined 40 grand a day. That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But if you're trying to prove a point, like at what point, you know, is enough? Who knows?
Yeah. Like if it was me, like if it was me, I mean, like if I'm so pissed off, 80. I think I saw a 72 on there. Like if it was me, I'd be like, if I was Debo, if he's really has his mindset of I don't want to participate, I would show up. Like I said, I'd show up. I would stretch. Let me go out there, run a couple routes. Okay, coach, I'm sitting down because I showed up. I participated. It doesn't say you have to have 100% participation. It's if you don't show up, you get fined. So I'll show up, do the bare minimum, and sit down, so I don't get that money taken from me.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Exactly. Hit him with the Marshawn
To quote
Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch, the running back who terrorized us.
Yeah, I think that's the closest one. 72.
And David McNew answered my question earlier.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, he lost his workout bonus, $100,000. I mean, his wife must be good to him, or I don't know, man. I know he's newly married and all that.
Let me turn this damn light off so you can see. George
Kittle, nice.
Kittle up the middle.
So, David, if you can message me on Twitter, DM me on Twitter your address, and I'll get that sent out. Tanya, you as well. And then this week, I'm going to send out the winners from last.
Hey, I was going to say, I loved it when you guys had Grant Cohn on. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it I watched it live towards the end when after he left. I didn't know he was going to be a guest in your show. If I knew that, I would have watched it live. But I watched the whole thing anyways. And I love that how right when the show starts off, Grant Cohn's like, "Wow, Miriah, you got the NPR radio voice." And I was like, it never went through my mind like that before. But now that he mentions it, yeah, he's right. But it's
Mari
cool.
does
It's a
have
good
a
thing.
pretty smooth, soothing voice. Like even in person, like when she talks, you're just like, okay, let me grab my pillow and take a nap real quick. It's so soothing, man. Like it puts you to sleep
It
in
should
a
have you
way.
on those. Yeah, do some voiceovers for NyQuil or something. I don't know.
That's funny because probably my wife would say the opposite. That my voice isn't soothing enough around here. She thinks I'm too.
It doesn't sound too soothing when you're dropping those F-bombs. I'll tell you that much.
And then the last couple of things, and we'll get on out of here. We got schedule release tomorrow night. So, we've had a couple surprises, dropped so far. Obviously, we have the Mexico game that we talked about. You weren't on the show when we talked about that, Bashar. What are your thoughts on playing in Mexico?
Playing in Mexico, cool. Great experience for the 49ers and the younger players to play out there. Great experience for the Mexican fan base. Shout out to the Mexican 49er fans out there and that live in Mexico. We have a strong fan base out there. A lot of people don't even realize that. There's even some an all Spanish YouTube channel called Canal 49. And and he's based in Mexico, and great for the Mexican fans that live over in Mexico who love the 49ers. Great for the players to experience it. It's going to be an away game for us, which is cool.
Yeah,
and we're not going to be docked for a home game. So hey, why not?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, one more thing. I hate to bring the guy's name up, but I'm afraid that we may miss out on it. And I do. I remember. I think you were asking me about Daniel Kelly or something before we started the show.
Oh yeah.
I hate to say his name, but I just think it would be a good for conversation before we get out of here.
Yeah, you hadn't seen it. Jason Aponte, shout out to him. He'll be on the show Saturday. Make sure you guys check it out. 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. He posted a video today from the guy that I've never met in my life. The only person that I've never met and that I hate is this guy, the wannabe former pro scout. And I heard that it wasn't even an actual real job.
It wasn't a real. So he was just walking around.
Like an intern thing.
He was walking around the facility pretending to be a scout.
He wasn't getting paid for the shit. What was his damn name?
Daniel Kelly. I finally saw what he looked like on his YouTube channel, and I was like, "This is the former NFL scout." This guy literally looks like the guy who's trying to sell his Rolex at the casino. So yeah,
I can't stand him. So
that's funny you say that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Bashar, that's funny you say that about the Mexican fan base because when I was stationed down in San Diego, we used to go to Tijuana to party every weekend. But yeah, there was a lot of 49er fans down there. I'd wear my 49er hats and stuff. They're like, "Go Niners!" It was a bunch of them down there.
That's cool.
And it's funny because you would have thought that they'd be more into the Chargers because it was so close to San Diego was right there. But no, there's a lot of 49er fans down there in Mexico.
I was at the first game at Levi's, and right behind me, there's people speaking Spanish the whole time, and I was looking at them, and I had a feeling they weren't Mexicans that lived in California, and I was like, "Oh, you guys come from Mexico?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Whoa, okay, there you go."
John V looked up the prices, I think, yesterday or someday, the day before, maybe, for the prices for the game over there, and yeah, they were outrageous. So he's trying to see if anybody has a boat for us to take over there. We'll start, we'll leave next week to make it there by November.
But David, Club Excess. I was more of a Senior McGee's and Iguanas person myself over on Revolution Avenue. Yeah. I had some good times there, brother.
I only went to TJ once. So I didn't get to have as much fun as you did. Apparently.
Oh, we used to go every weekend.
Every weekend. Oh my
it was
gosh.
so let me tell you before Miriah goes. Let me tell you how cheap it was down there. So I don't know. I think the currency now is a lot different. But so $1 for us is $9.60 for them. That's how big of a difference.
Yeah, it's still close to the same.
So yeah, so that's why they take our money with no problem. So for us being sailors going down there, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids able to drink because we don't have to be 21 down there. We would pay $12 to get into the club and you get all you can drink. To us, that's chump change. Going there with $12. So for us, we're like, oh, that's cheap. But for them, they're getting $120 a head. So it was like a win-win situation for both. No, I was stationed at Coronado Island. So, yeah, good times.
Right. So For you that don't know this guy, I suggest you don't look him up. Just do yourself a favor. He's been claiming, that Trey Lance is a bust, and like this guy hates on Trey Lance more than any person I've ever seen. Like he's a freaking weirdo. Like he's posted some weird ass shit. Not even just about Trey Lance. Like he's posted some weird shit, like idolizing dead people and murders and shit.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
All right, so
when you look at the guy, it starts to make more sense. I told you he's a weird looking dude.
Yeah, this is what he looks like. I'm gonna play this.
If you have children at their home, make sure to cover their eyes.
You ain't lying, JV. He got his head in his lap for sure.
Good job, V. I saw that.
Everyone else has seen on game film, they look at him through lenses of stardust. As a former NFL scout who worked with the New York Jets on a Hall of Fame staff, I listen to all the people that think Trey Lance is so great. All the nation do is
sounds like he's rapping.
He was nothing special on game film in North Dakota State, but don't tell that to the 49ers scouting staff because they looked at this poor man's Dominic McNabb and they took the bait. I couldn't believe it. They traded away their future for him. Now the Niners' future is looking so grim. In the preseason for the 49ers, Lance could hardly hit the broadside of a barn. 39% completion percentage, showing 30% third down conversion rate, which of course only further fueled the debate. Looks like I was right because the trade package rode the bench, which of course the 49ers and their plans was like throwing them out the wrench. Then Lance got a chance to play during the regular season, and again he struggled to throw the ball downfield, just back to the bench with 29%.
Who made this?
Conversion rate was the reason. Now fans calling for Lance to start in 2022. Little do they know that 29% third down conversion rate will be the worst by NFL standards of the last 5 seasons. The Niners, of course, their ceiling would be 5-12 with Trey Lance starting, and all they can do is sit in Levi Stadium and boom.
Dude is so trash.
Who chopped that up? Who put that out, Miriah?
Jason Aponte put it out on.
Aponte put the beat to it?
No, I think that guy did that his own self.
No way.
I think so.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
it's funny if you're making fun of the guy. Yeah, I get it. But if he do it for himself, he's an idiot.
You know what's funny? Like I'm a mellow dude. Like I don't like a bunch of controversy and a bunch of violence. Not anymore anyway. That's the type of dude that if I saw him, I'd probably slap him. Like he don't even deserve to get punched. I want to disrespect him. I'll slap that fool across his face. Like,
I'm a polar opposite. I love violence. Just
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll let you take care of it then.
Yeah, I'll let you take care of it, brother.
But yeah, like that was the first thing I logged onto Twitter, this morning when I got up and whatever. And that's the first thing that I freaking see. I'm like, you got to be kidding me already.
You're like, I got to go back to bed and sleep this one off.
His name is Daniel Kelly, David. Daniel Kelly.
Yeah.
Don't follow him on Twitter.
He's like a Jets fan or some shit. He was a Jets scout, like nothing to do with the 49ers. And then somehow Grant hired him to write for SI and
I didn't know about that.
That was a fucking nightmare, but now Grant.
He writes for SI?
Not anymore.
And then this dude had the audacity to at Jed York and the Niners to ask them for a job and say that, hey, I was a former scout for the Jets. I know talent. Let me go ahead and hire me as a scout for you guys. I'm like, dude, calm down.
And then I think it's that. Who's the guy? I always get the two guys mixed up. I don't know if it's the Lobs All Day.
Oh, Lobs All Day.
Jimmy guy.
He's pretty bad.
Lobs All Day.
Lobs All Day's a Jimmy guy, yeah.
Okay, so I think it was him. He had posted something, some bullshit about Trey. And then Daniel Kelly comments, oh, I'm glad to see that somebody watches film and knows what they're talking about. I should hire you to come work for me. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's all
they watch all the film in the world, apparently. Yeah.
Two clowns working together. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
he's a clown.
Yeah. So, yeah, Daniel Kelly and Jason Aponte is the one that shared that video. I had retweeted it this morning as well.
You know what I will say? A lot of these dudes on Twitter are soft. Them fools ain't about that action because there was a dude who was at the draft party who claimed that he was going to come up to me and say something and talk some stuff.
Really?
And he didn't say a word to me. So, and Miriah knows who I'm talking about. So, yeah, fools are soft. softer than
Yep.
softer than Charmin. So I was hoping he had some words for him. He didn't say nothing. These fools are soft. So that's why I don't take none of these dudes on Twitter serious, because they talk all this trash keyboard warriors type stuff, because you see them in person and they're not going to do anything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just the guys that are soft. The girls are also soft.
well, I'm not
as
going to
well.
call no females soft.
Well, I'll call
like-
them out
because I like my females soft, if you know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
TL tells all.
Yeah. See, he don't drop F-bombs, but
I don't drop
drops
F-bombs, but I will be nasty. That's one thing I would.
He's got that balance going on. You need that in life.
What's Tanya? I will. What's she's saying I will to, as you're talking about you like your women soft.
I don't know.
Tanya's
Yes.
offering up her services already.
But yeah, these fools, man, these, like you said, Tanya, keyboard warriors. I don't take none of these dudes serious. Fools ain't about that action.
Only
Yeah,
warriors that matter are the ones that are playing tonight.
Yep, you're
That's
right,
right.
JV. Ed, you're right, JV. That, you know what? I'd say that four-ply. He's really soft. Got that lotion infused toilet paper. Soft, man.
The last thing I wanted to touch on, not 49ers related, but they announced yesterday that Tom Brady, once he retires, will be signing on to announce games and whatnot. I think, what was it, 375 million for 10 years. Makes him by far the highest paid TV analysis. And I shared it yesterday once I seen the numbers, because it showed like his compared to them under him, and like Tony Romo's way under. Like I think it averages out to like 36.5 a year for him, and Tony Romo's at like 19 or something. And I remember that when Tony Romo left the Cowboys and went into TV, that like we seen his contract and the deal that he got, and it was like, holy shit, like this guy is going to be making more in TV than he did as a quarterback, and like at the time, like that blew me away, the numbers then. And now Tom Brady is somebody that we don't even know how, if he can do freaking TV analysis on games and shit or not, like he's never done it before, and yet you already signed him a contract to make him the highest paid one in history. Like that's a lot of fucking money. $375 million for 10 years. That's more than he made in his football career.
Yeah.
And they don't even know if he's going to suck at it or not.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, he must have killed it in the freaking audition.
In the
I hope
interview.
he did to earn that money, that type of salary. I mean,
think
Fox is going to lose money, because it's not like Larry Krueger and a few other guys are saying the same stuff on Twitter. Like it's not like Fox Sports hires this guy and all of a sudden the views are just going to rapidly increase, because people are going to watch the games anyways. That's what they do. They watch NFL, so they lost money with this one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I wonder if they're just thinking like, oh, he'll bring so many ratings because he's Tom Brady. Like you said, people are gonna watch. I mean, people were watching games when Booger McFarland was the commentator, and he was terrible.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And that's the thing. Like I could give a fuck less, who's doing the game, because if I don't like the person, I'm just going to put the TV on mute, like I don't need to listen to him to know what's going on. So if it's somebody I don't like, I'm not going to listen to him regardless.
There are some voices that get annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
And didn't they just lose like Troy Aikman, or wasn't that where he was? And now he went on to Amazon or wherever.
Yeah, I think.
So
I
now
think
it's
Troy
like
Aikman
they're
is
trying
now
to.
I think
They're
Troy's
trying to
the
like
voice of
one
Monday
up
Night
him, like,
Football.
oh, we'll get a bigger quarterback in here than you guys got. It's like.
That's true, Miriah. That's a good point.
Contest.
Yeah. But
point,
it's like you said, it's not going to, people that don't watch football aren't going to give a shit about Tom Brady regardless anyways. So, like he's not bringing in $375 million worth of new people to watch football games. It's like,
exactly.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, sure, he's a big draw ratings wise for his play, but doesn't mean people can be, oh boy, I can't wait to hear a Tom Brady announce game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he might,
JV.
We don't know, but I mean,
we sound like a bunch of haters.
I mean, as long as we get, like, I don't know what the real Tom Brady is, to be honest. Like, we seen one whole person for my entire life while he was with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like a guy that didn't talk much. He kept to himself. Like, we didn't see no personality from the guy. And then he gets to the, Tampa Bay, and now he's like an outgoing person. He talks to people. He does all this shit. Yeah, he's drunk as shit at the parade. And it's like, so what Tom Brady are we going to get? Is it like a mix in between that? Is it the drunk? Is it going to be like Troy Aikman up there drunk off his ass? Like, what are we getting there is what I want to know. Like it'll
Yeah,
definitely be interesting.
They'll
to
find
see.
out the hard way.
that's true.
Yeah. I think that Aikman and Buck snort coke in there anyway. So
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I hope.
Probably right.
I'm trying to be optimistic about this, but I hope it doesn't get to the point where I'm sitting there watching a Niner game and I'm all mad. Damn, I don't want it to be a Tom Brady announced game.
yeah,
I hope it doesn't get that bad.
Get their coke from Michael Irvin.
yeah. And like Aikman and Romo too, like they're such homers when the Cowboys are playing, and so it's like, is it going to be that when the Patriots are playing, like he's going to be all homerish, and like I don't know. It's definitely
Well, that's like
gonna be
Chris
interesting.
Collinsworth. Like every time the Niners plays, he hates on us so
Yeah.
much because he got beat by us twice in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he's just like, every time he has nothing good to say about the Niners ever.
Yeah, I heard people were comparing it to how Peyton and Eli are. Did you guys watch any games that they did this past season?
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're good.
Yeah.
I saw one thing they did that was stupid though. Who was it? Eli when they flipped off the camera? I forgot why, but that was the one thing that I saw that was kind of stupid or questionable.
To me, they don't like talk enough like about the actual game though. Like they're just there like bullshitting about like such random shit. Like they're not talking about the plays on the field like hardly. Like like they're so like caught up into other shit that's going on to me.
I give Tony Romo his props, so he calls a good game.
Yeah,
like he knows his stuff. So yeah, didn't Aikman go to Monday Night Football now?
I thought he said Amazon.
I don't know. One of them.
Who knows?
Somewhere anyway. There was a whole bunch of move around. That's why they were trying to get John Lynch. I can't stand looking at Eli, to be honest. Like,
he's so goofy looking,
freaking weird looking. Like Peyton is too, but he's not as bad as Eli to me.
Aikman signed with with ESPN.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that whole was okay.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah. Unless you guys have anything else.
No, I just hope
Warriors game starting in a few minutes.
The schedule release comes out. What is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow night, yeah.
So I'm hoping that the Raiders 49ers game is in October. I think that'd be the perfect time. One, because it's my birthday, so I'll be a homer and say that. And then two, I think that's like the weather would be perfect. It won't be too hot. It won't be too cold. I think that's just perfect timing. You know what I mean for that game. So, and I hope it's a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So
yeah, early October, mid October night game.
Yeah. Night game. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
But isn't the game going to be at Levi's, right? And I'm not Levi's in Las Vegas, right?
It's in Vegas this year.
Yeah, in Vegas. That's what I meant. So, I mean, playing indoors, does the weather really matter all that much?
Well, I'm just talking about the partying aspect of it. You know what I mean? Because if you have it like week 3 or week 4 or something, it's still hot in September here in Vegas. But I think October, like mid to late October, is like perfect because the weather starts to cool down, and then till you'll have like basketball starting. Like it'll be like a lot going on during that time, and the World Series will be going on too. So. Vegas could be making a lot of money if they have it during that time.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that Vegas heat doesn't play. I'll tell you that much. Definitely better in the summertime. I walked around on that strip in the summertime.
115 degrees, and
I hope not.
During Christmas week, I don't think they will. I think the NFL is looking at it as like a money ploy. Like, man, like how much money can we make? Because they know the Niners and Raiders hate each other. They know the fans are going to show up, and there's a lot of Niners fans here in Vegas too.
And people are spend time with their kids to Vegas. They don't.
Let me ask you this.
I mean, for Christmas, they don't bring them to Vegas.
Yeah.
Since I do have my eyes set on this game. Never been to a Niner away game.
Okay.
But it's a quick flight for me over here in Northern California, and I know I've been saying in the back of my head I'd like to go to the game. So hopefully, if I go, I get to see you guys and see John Chapman and Breezy and whoever else might be there, God willing. But yeah, I hate the Raiders. That's the first team I ever grew up hating. So hopefully we'd stomp them. That'd be cool. But yeah,
it's an hour flight for you.
Getting caught by stray bullets.
Hour 15.
Hour 15. Yeah, it's like it's a quick flight. And then, like I said, I mean, when the schedule comes out tomorrow, I know people need to hurry up and get their hotel rooms fast because it's gonna go quick.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask you about the Raider fan base in Vegas. How much of it is actually organic, and how much of it is just like a just fake generated fan base? Because they built a new stadium, all of a sudden people go, "Oh, I want to be a Raiders fan because they just built a stadium."
Both.
I would say personally, I don't think there's too many. I mean, people that already have been from Vegas and have lived here, they already have their football teams.
Exactly.
So like with the Golden Knights, for example, they started here, new here, like they didn't bring in a hockey team from another state. So it was a little easier to get on board for Vegas fans with the Golden Knights. Vegas fans aren't just going to jump on board to the Raiders when they've been hating the Raiders or being fans of other teams their entire lives. You're not going to just change to the Raiders that came from a different freaking state.
One thing I will say about this town, it's such a transient city. Like there's fan bases from all over.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like, so the people who are Vegas fans are pretty much were Vegas fans before they even got here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They were like, because we have a lot of people who moved here from the Bay Area or just California in general. So you meet people like me, like I talk to my coworkers every day. So when we go to work, I'm like, you have fans of the Chargers, fans of the Chicago Bears, the Jets. Like there's no like dominant team out here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because there's just everybody's from everywhere. So, and I kind of like that because then it has more, so like when I used to live in Fresno, California, it was a lot of Niners fans. So like the discussions got kind of boring sometimes because we're always talking about the same stuff. You know what I mean? But here, like all my coworkers are from everywhere, Lions fans, Dolphins, whatever the case may be. So we talk football. It's a little different because we all talk about our own teams and we get something from everybody else's opinions and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I agree with Miriah. There's a lot of people who jumped on that bandwagon and it drives me nuts. Like, oh, go and they sell these license plates here with the Raiders on the emblem on it. So you see a bunch of those. I'm like, man, get out of here. I didn't see all you Raiders fans until they put the team here. But there are some genuine ones who come here, who are from the Bay Area, stuff like that, or from LA, who have loved the Raiders their whole life. So,
and nothing beats that Monday morning feeling that when you walk into work and you start pumping your chest and like, yeah, my Niners won yesterday. You start talking shit to your coworkers. That's a great feeling.
Yep. But it sucks too after a loss when you have to come in and be like, "Don't."
Those are the worst. Those are the worst.
Not today.
Yep. So. Yeah, it'll be fun. I can't wait. I hope everybody in the chat all comes. I want to meet every one of you. Joey, are you from Fresno or what, brother? I went to Clovis West. What school did you go to? Yeah, so there's just a bunch of stuff. I just, it's fun, man. Like, I just can't wait to that schedule to come out tomorrow. I want to see what's going on. I think October, November would be a good time for us. But yeah, Christmas, I don't think that'd be a good time to bring a game out here because, like you said, a lot of people like to chill with their families and stuff like that. I just don't see that happening. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Again, Bashar, I appreciate you coming on, giving us your time. Let's go, Dub Nation. Let everybody know again where they can find you. I put his link to his channel in the description as well. So if you guys aren't subscribed to his channel, please click on that, go over there and subscribe. It's a great show. Make sure you guys check it out.
Thank you. Hey, it's been so much fun on here. I've had a blast. This is like one of the funnest shows I've done in a long time. Just wanted to say that. And I'm not just saying it to say it. I don't say that all the time, but
Thank you.
Pleasure being on here. I'd love to collab with you guys again in the future. I'll have you on next as a guest, Miriah, as a solo guest, and then after that, we got to do some type of collaboration on my channel with the two of you on here. But yeah, my channel is 49er Minded. It's a guest-driven show. We do a lot of fun stuff on there. I'm always throwing in weird, random questions, and I'm catching people off guard is what I do. And we're gonna venture. We did a few pilots for our little hip hop show called Chillin' at the Spot. We ran into issues with copyrights though, so the plan is to move that aside and make it a separate YouTube channel. So we just don't care about copyrights there, and we're just doing it for the love and the fun of it, and that's fine. So we will have that in the works. Me and Crypto Ryan from No Border Sports. But in general, I'm always bringing guests on. But follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. It's at 49er Minded. And 49er Minded Facebook group as well. Instagram page 49er Minded. And yeah, you guys ever want to hit me up with questions or try to be on the show? Hey, let me know.
Yeah, awesome, man. Hey, Joey, so I know exactly where Parlier is. I know where Sanger's at. I got 2 words for you. Chuck wagon. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Thanks everybody for coming to hang out with us. We appreciate you guys. Like Swan said, please hit that like, subscribe, tell a friend, help us grow the channel. We would appreciate it.
And put the word out. David, I think this is the first time I've seen you on here. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Miriah. But yeah, if you can spread the word, man, I appreciate your support in our show.
And one more thing, go Warriors and Niners.
Yes. All right. Yeah, Saturday we'll be here. Jason Aponte, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you guys then.
All right, fam.